In Europe, World War II is believed to have begun on September 1, 1939 with the German invasion of Poland and Great Britain. And 2 days later France declared war on Germany. Then and on September 3. Other British historians A.J. Anthony Beevor, a British historian, sees the beginning of World War II as the Battle of Kalchinkel from May to September 1939 between Japanese Mongol and Soviet forces. There was also no widespread agreement on when the war ended. At the time, it was generally accepted that the war would end with an armistice on August 15, 1945, VE Day, rather than a simple surrender. It became official in Japan on September 2, 1945. In 1951, a peace treaty was signed between Japan and the Allies. The Treaty on the Future of Germany, 1990, unified Germany, East and West together and solved many problems after the First World War. A formal peace treaty was never signed between Japan and the Soviet Union. Two countries. The causes of World War II are still debated. But factors included the Second Italo-Ethiopian War, the Spanish Civil War, the Second Sino-Japanese War, the conflict on the Soviet-Japanese border, the rise of fascism in Europe, and post-World War II tensions in Europe. World War I. It is generally believed that World War II began on September 1, 1939, when Nazi Germany under Adolf Hitler invaded Poland. Great Britain and France declared war on Germany on that date. Under the August 1939 Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact of September 3, 1939, Germany and the Soviet Union partitioned and demarcated Poland. Its sphere of influence was defined as Finland, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and Romania. In a series of campaigns and treaties from late 1939 to early 1941, Germany occupied or controlled large parts of Europe as part of a military alliance. Italy, Japan, and other countries known as Axis powers. After the start of the North African Campaign and the fall of France in the mid-1940s, the war continued mainly between European forces and the British Empire. The Battle of Britain through the Balkan Wars and the Blitzkrieg and the Battle of the Atlantic on June 22, 1941, Germany opened the Eastern Front. It was the largest land front in history. By attacking the Soviet Union with the Axis powers of Europe. In 1937, Japan was at war with the People's Republic of China for dominance in Asia and the Pacific. In December 1941, Japan invaded the American and British territories. This includes attacks in Southeast Asia and the Central Pacific. As a result, the United States and Great Britain declared war on Japan, including the U.S. Navy at Pearl Harbor. The European Union declared war on the United States, and Japan soon gained control of the Western Pacific. However, progress stalled after the decisive Battle of Midway was defeated in 1942. Germany and Italy were defeated in North Africa, and the Soviet Union was defeated at Stalingrad. The great victory of 1943 was the defeat of Germany on the Eastern Front. Allied invasions of Sicily and mainland Italy, and Allied invasions of the Pacific. It undermined the Axis approach and left them behind strategically on all fronts. Evacuation in 1944, the Western Allies invaded German-occupied France. The Soviet Union recouped its territorial losses and, in 1944 to 1945, defeated Japan in continental Asia and pushed back against Germany and its allies. Meanwhile, the Allies crippled the Japanese fleet and captured key islands in the Western Pacific. The war in Europe ended with the liberation of German-occupied territories and the occupation of Germany by the Western Allies and the Soviet Union. It ended with the fall of Soviet forces in Berlin. Hitler's assassination and Germany's unconditional surrender on May 8, 1945. He refused to surrender to Japan under the Potsdam Declaration. Released July 26, 1945, the United States came close by dropping the first atomic bombs on Hiroshima on August 6 and Nagasaki on August 9. Availability of additional atomic bombs before the Soviet Union invaded Manchuria and declared war on Japan. Augusta surrendered on August 10. Declaration of Intent. The verification document is signed. World War II changed the political and social structure of the world. The foundation of the international system of nations was laid. worldwide throughout the remainder of the 20th century and into the present day. The United Nations was created to promote international cooperation and prevent future conflicts. The victorious superpowers included China, France, the Soviet Union and Great Britain. And the US became a permanent member of the Security Council. The Soviet Union and the United States became rival superpowers. This started the Cold War, which lasted for almost half a century. The great powers lost their influence in the face of the destruction of Europe. This led to the colonization of Africa and Asia. Most of the countries whose productivity has been affected are experiencing economic recovery and growth. In Europe in particular, political and economic integration begins in an effort to prevent future armed conflicts, stop the race before the battle, and creates a shared sense of identity.